Right, so just before I get into the next vlog, I'm just walking along the strip of hotels that is next to the Dead Sea. So there's like Marriott, Hilton, and there's also Movenpick. Now, someone from the German group said to me yesterday, they said, "Oh, you can go and get your hair cut at the Movenpick. There's a barber in there. He does it for 15 JD. He's pretty good. He's pretty good." So I just went in there to get it cut today because obviously I'm trying to just keep the back short so I can try and treat the bit on the back of my head. And I mean, this is what I've come out with. I mean, I'm not sure if the camera's getting it very well, but I look a bit like a peanut. So, I mean, it was 15 JD. I'm trying not to be ungrateful here, but I mean, he was hacking away at my head. He was like doing it one-handed, like freestyling at one point. He said he trained with one of London's top. He said he trained with one of London's top stylists, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." So if you need a cheap haircut, cheap and cheerful haircut while you're out here, the Movenpick, the job done, kind of. Anyway, moving on into the next vlog. Right, welcome to vlog number 3. Yes, I know, I'm wearing a tank top. Might be getting deja vu from where I'm walking, but I'm actually walking down to the Dead Sea because in this vlog I'm going to talk about why the Dead Sea is so special, you know, what is climatotherapy, and exactly why it's good for people that have vitiligo, or can potentially be good for people that have vitiligo. I'm actually taking my shoes off to walk down there because the Dead Sea mud is more like clay. It's like a nightmare to get off after you've stood in it, so it's just easier to go down there barefoot. So it's actually now day 14, so I'm a little over halfway through the trip and I'm starting to go quite dark now. I'm getting quite tanned, so my vitiligo is becoming a lot more obvious on my face. I'm starting to see some I guess improvements, you could say. So around my eye, it's going slightly darker around there, so it looks like it's kind of about to hyperpigment. It's going much darker than the other tan skin, and that's usually a sign that there's going to be some kind of repigmentation there, or it was last time I came out here. Also, I'm seeing a few tiny little dots on my face around here as well. So again, it's very early stages, but I'm positive and I'm hopeful that I'm going to see some improvement here. Right, so I'm just down by the Dead Sea now. I'm just going to turn the camera around. Hopefully you can see that. Some of the salts on the floor. I'm actually going to sit down, I think. It's killing my feet. I've had a few people ask me exactly what the Dead Sea treatment is, you know, what is climatotherapy. And really, it consists of two things. The first thing is to bathe in the Dead Sea and actually absorb the salts and minerals that exist within the Dead Sea. And the second part is to actually come out and sunbathe and absorb the UV rays within this area. Now, where you go and sunbathe is in some open solariums that actually behind me back there. So there is one for men, you know, separate solariums for men, women, and for children, I believe, because generally people are sunbathing naked in there. They're trying to treat, you know, their whole body, and whether that's vitiligo, psoriasis, eczema. Generally, when I go in there, most people are naked, so that's why they've been separated into different solariums. I am planning to do like a full video in like a day in the life type style, so you will actually get to see what a day under Dr. Bisharat, I think is how you pronounce his name, at the Dead Sea Medical Centre a day within his treatment programme, what that's actually like, and how it compares to Professor Shawwriter's treatment. So obviously there's a huge amount of similarities, but there was also some quite key differences as well, so I'll try and cover those in that video. So to start with, there's actually nowhere like this on Earth. It's incredibly unique. The Dead Sea is actually 400 metres below sea level, and that's very, very important for the following reason. The UV rays that make it to the lowest point on Earth within the Middle East. So a bit about UVA and UVB. UVB rays are shorter, UVA rays are longer, and generally UVB is considered more harmful to the skin for prolonged periods that you spend in the sun. So it can cause burns, it can cause issues with your eyes, etc. UVA, the longer ray, is considered less harmful, and at this point on the Earth there's actually a ratio of more UVA to UVB, and the reason for that is the distance that the rays have to travel to get to 400 meters below sea level. And secondly, the Dead Sea is actually evaporating, so as it evaporates it sort of presents this mist across the Dead Sea area, and that filters out of a number of the UVB rays as well. So basically you're getting the same effect that you would with UV light treatments that you may have had at home, but out here, because of that ratio of UVA to UVB, you can gradually increase your exposure to the sun, so you can spend more time in the sun, more time under UV rays, and in turn hopefully induce more repigmentation on the vitiligo patches. But you know, this is where the benefit comes in of having someone like Professor Shawwriter out with you, or having Dr. Bisharat. It's just, you know, it's a medical professional that can advise you and direct you on how much time you should be spending in the sun, and they can look at your skin. You know, they're qualified, and they can tell you, you know, exactly what you should be doing. Obviously the sun and the UV rays aren't the only important thing for people that suffer with vitiligo when you come out here to take part in this treatment. The Dead Sea has an incredibly high concentration of salts and minerals. So the salts, first off, you know, famously, anyone that's ever been out to the Dead Sea, you've probably seen about 20,000 pictures of people in there reading newspapers or reading a book and floating. So that high salt concentration actually makes you buoyant. Now, the mineral content within the Dead Sea. This mineral content within the Dead Sea actually helps reduce oxidative stress within the skin. Vitiligo sufferers tend to have high levels of hydrogen peroxide within the skin, and that in turn is causing oxidative stress, and then in turn, you know, I don't know the science behind it, but then in turn that is causing us to lose pigment. So we have something in our body called catalase, and that is meant to break down the hydrogen peroxide, but for whatever reason, I don't know the reason, but it doesn't work correctly within people that suffer from vitiligo, and thus the hydrogen peroxide levels are going out of control, and then you're getting oxidative stress within the skin. So the mineral content of the Dead Sea, the salts in the Dead Sea, coming out and then sunbathing and getting those UV rays can hopefully, you know, help people with repigmentation. Now, just from my perspective, there's two other, I don't know, treatments you can call them, that I know of that bring down like high oxidation within the skin, and one is Professor Shawwriter's PC-KUS creams, which is obviously actually used in conjunction with the Dead Sea treatment on her climatotherapy program. But she's very clear that if you follow her treatments, then the cream is included in that. You have to use the cream. And the second thing is actually something that I do, which is I supplement Gingko Biloba. You know, so I've read a few initial studies, you know, research trials that are testing the use of Gingko Biloba to treat vitiligo, and it's kind of had sort of mixed success. But there's good signs of it stopping the spreading of vitiligo, and in some cases actually repigmentation without any direct sunlight as well. But you know, these cases seems few and far between. You know, I'm not quite sure what the science is behind Gingko Biloba, but I know it's an antioxidant, and also it has something in it that actually helps the immune system as well. So I actually include it in my own treatment program. I take it because as far as I can tell, it does no harm and it might be helping. I'll probably link some of like the studies and the trials, etc., and the research. I'll link it in the blog post, and I'll also link it in the YouTube description as well. So you can have a read for yourself and make your own decisions based on the information that you read. The sun's going down now, so I'm hoping you still be able to see me. The other thing I just wanted to add is that, you know, as the Dead Sea evaporates, bromine gets released up into the air, and bromine is actually something that makes you feel more relaxed, you feel less stressed, and we constantly hear about the connection between you know, stress and vitiligo. You know, the more stressed you are, people seeing their vitiligo worsening. So anything that helps, you know, to reduce stress or, you know, makes you relax more, you know, can't be bad for supporting the repigmentation process. You know, and just further to that as well, if you go on any of the programs out here, whether it's with, you know, Professor Shellwriter or you just come directly to the Dead Sea Medical Centre, you can't underestimate the psychological impact that this has on you and how you feel about your vitiligo, especially when you're in a large group. So the group I'm out with now is only probably about 10 people, but when I was out with Professor Shellwriter 2 years ago, I think it was around 70 or 80 people. And you know, when you have people that understand the condition, they understand the emotional pain that it can cause sometimes, and they're dealing with it as well. It can really change your perspective on the condition and make you feel much better about it. So I think sometimes, although people think these types of treatments are expensive, and there are UV alternatives back home, you can never underestimate that aspect to it. You know, meeting those people and having those conversations, and generally just becoming to accept the condition more. I think this has a real part to play in that out here. So I'm not sure if I've got that much else to add. This is my layman's explanation of what goes on out here. I work in IT sales. You know, I'm not a medical professional. But I do research these things, and I do want to understand exactly what I'm doing to my skin and how I'm treating it, and I try and make informed decisions based on what I read, whether that's, you know, research, clinical trial driven evidence, or if it's anecdotal evidence that I see in some of the holistic vitiligo groups as well. I think it's good to have a real open mind to how vitiligo can be treated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed vlog number 3. If you have any questions or comments or, you know, whatever, I'm publishing this to YouTube, and then I'm sharing it obviously on my blog and obviously on a number of Facebook groups as well. And I've got quite a few more videos to come. So I mean, if you want to know anything specifically, let me know in any of those, you know, forums, and I'll try and answer it in one of the next videos. So I'll see you in the next one.